doing tomorrow's Tanya. To illustrate from the soul of a human being, when a man utters a word, this single word is absolutely nothing, even when compared only to his articulate soul as a whole. This is the metaphor that um, when a man utters a word, the single word is nothing compared to his ability to speak. I'm sorry, or to the soul that can speak, which we say is the soul's middle garment, namely its faculty of speech. So the soul's capacity to speak is theoretically endless. You could speak, whatever you want. You could say A or B, and you could do that again and again. So what is one word in the face of the potential of endless words? Since this faculty can produce an infinite number of words, right? Theoretically, the person would live forever. They can, right? They can do any word. So what's the face of one actual word in the face of the potential of infinite words? That's because the physical organs have a limit of how much you can speak. Eventually a person can't speak anymore. But the soul, the ability to speak in the psyche or the soul is endless.
Wow.
Surely then, this one word has no value when compared to the soul's innermost garment, namely its faculty of thought, which is the source of speech and its life force. So take this. So if you say that one actual uttered word compared to your potential endless words is of naught, well, let's ramp up the odds. Let's compare it to the ability to think, which is even more unlimited than the ability to speak, which is the source of the speech, right? If you go compare the actual uttered word to the faculty of thought, it's a drop. It's not even a drop in the ocean. It's a drop in the endless ocean. It goes without saying that this word would for sure even go back to the source of your faculty of thought. What's the source of that? Compare with the essence and entity of the soul itself, where it has the attributes of the sirot, of the Chabad and the Chachma Bina Das, and so on. Right? Meaning there's the active part of the brain that can think, and then there's like the thinking, I call it the prefrontal cortex or something, and then there's beyond that even there's the reservoir of seichel, of intellect, from which are derived the letters of thought that are clothed in one's speech when it's uttered. Okay, because ultimately when you're speaking words, it comes from either a seichel, a intellectual point, or a emotional point, which is the makeup of the soul we spoke earlier. For thought, too, like speech, consists of letters, except the letters of thought are more spiritual and refined. But the 10 attributes, Chachma Bina Dat, right? Your soul's made up of seichel, a repository of intellect, of consciousness, and of midot, of emotions. They're the root of the source of the thought, which is the source of the speech, or the source of your speaking the word. And before being clothed in the garment of thought, in the reservoir of seichel, they lack the elements of letters because it's very potential. It's not active. So now I give an example. For example, when a man suddenly becomes conscious of a certain love or desire in his heart, before it has risen from the heart to the brain to meditate on and ponder it, it has not yet acquired the elements of letters. It's only pure desire and longing for the object of his affection. All the more so before he began to feel in his heart a craving and desire for that thing, when it was yet confined with the realm of his intellect, chachma, bina, or dat. Right? Meaning the thing was known to him and it was desirable and gratifying. You knew that there was, some type of delicious fruit in some faraway island. You heard about it, but you glanced at it, but never meant anything to you. It was something good and pleasant to attain or cling to, as for instance, to study a certain discipline or to eat some delicacy. In the state of intellectual appreciation, It's even before there's an emotion. There's even if there's like an attraction to the thing. There's no letters there. It's very primal. Just the mere like awareness is obviously the split second, because usually when you're aware, you're thinking and your emotion all comes in one in our experience. But if you can break it down, that there's really millisecond, or what do you call it, stages of awareness of something, emotion about something, thinking about something, doing about something, speaking and doing. By us, it's a second that happens all together, but it is different processes in that second. Only after the desire and craving have already descended into his heart through the stimulus of his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and only after they ascended once again from the heart back to the brain. What's the order? Awareness on a very cold level, send signal to the heart, warm emotion. The emotion then puts it back to the conscious part of the brain. Let's say it's a prefrontal cortex, whatever, the part that thinks, to now ponder how to get the thing. And then you start speaking and doing about it. For example, getting that food, or thinking or learning that knowledge that you heard about.
You just said a 5-step.
Yeah. It's only at this point when one applies his thoughts to the implementing your desire, which is step 3 of the process. It's cold intellect, warm emotion, and now step 3 is scheme, would be like, not scheme, but like schemed how to get it. Figuring how to get it. That's the thought is the third stage. That letters are born in one's mind, corresponding to the language of each of the nations, whatever language you think in, who employ these letters when speaking and thinking about everything in the world, whatever language you're in. I mean, pure feeling doesn't even have, so pure feeling and pure intellect doesn't have letters yet. It's only thought, active thought, which is already stage 3, where there's letters, even on some level. So what do we end off here? From all this, we understand that the Alter Rebbe's earlier statement that a spoken word is without value, it's incomparable, and it's a drop in the bucket compared to a spoken word, compared to your unspoken intellect and emotions. It's nothing. It says nothing in face of it, both because of the infinity that overwhelms the actual one, and even more so, your spoken thought is a devolved version of what exists on a much more ethereal level in the thought and emotion, in the pre-letters thought and pre-letters intellect and emotion. It's almost like it's a different life force.
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
A picture's worth 1,000 words. Why? How does that connect to here?
I think you think in a picture. That's the
Oh,
closest we can get to it. That's what
interesting.
the basic thought is. You've got a picture.
Right. You have some sort of mental picture.
Converted it into a thought or a
Interesting. Right. Interesting. So therefore, we're going to explain later how all the words, we have to unpack this, but stay tuned for Sunday. We'll try to learn Sunday. That all the worlds are created by God's spoke, by speech. Why speech? It's this metaphor that the speech of God, whatever that means, is saying that in comparison to God's true essence, it's as nothing. So then we can qualify while there is a world. After all, God spoke and said there should be a world, but it says nothing compared to the essence of God. And